and welcome to yet another edition of Wolverine Chat. My name is Tim Raymond. I'm here with Nate Marble, and today we'll be talking Michigan hoops and basketball, and talking as the world turns, the soap opera that is Michigan football. It just seems, Nate, things go from good to bad to good to bad. I mean, overall, things are good, but some of this craziness really gives people, Spartan fans, they love it. They just love it. But you know what? Go ahead, give it to us, because we're going to be back in the national championship game, or in the national champion, and they're going to be maybe a bowl game. So come on, Spartan fans, give it to us.
I don't even think a bowl game, honestly. I really don't.
I don't think so either. But even if they make a 6-6 and make it to the Laundry Bowl game, that's fine. But so I was able to catch the Michigan game Sunday, and it seems like every game's close to the same thing. We were at the Northwestern game, and they started out great, as usual, like they did against Penn State. Northwestern came back, led for a good part of the game. Michigan finished strong. But I want to talk about a guy we were so excited about coming back, and I think he should be one of the most dominant players in the nation, and he's not. And he's soft this year, especially. You know who we're talking about, our guy, Hunter.
Mr. Dickinson, yes, sir.
He's still averaging like 17, and he's still, 3 or 4.
I mean, he's averaging what he should be averaging, but at the same time, he should be averaging point-wise.
He should be over 20 points.
A lot more, especially considering the fact that the way he can get to the paint, and then when he gets there, he's a foot, 2 feet away from the basket, and he
kicks it out every time.
He either kicks it out, or he overshoots it, or undershoots it, and misses like literally a inch.
And half the time when he tries to go
something
up,
he
it's
should
blocked,
be hitting,
or he's fouled sometimes, but he doesn't go up strong. Now, the last 2 games, he had 12 and 11. So he's not even, the last 2 games, he's not even getting his...
Well, not even that, but like he's aggressive. When he starts hitting his marks, the kid is really aggressive, and I love it.
Well, I like his little 10-foot, they'll shot, and
then
he's
he'll
good.
Run down the hoop,
down the
court.
With his little arms.
Yeah.
No, I like the kid. I mean, he's hardly a kid, but I really like him. But I just think he's soft right now.
He is. He's very. He has not played up to my standards, or I felt like the university standards, especially considering the fact that he was supposed to be our key player this year,
right?
And he hasn't been. They're 11-7 on the season.
10-7, I think.
So. It's extremely disappointing, because right now, they're not even looking at
the dance right now.
No,
they don't have any quad 1 wins. That Iowa would have been when they come close, but NCAA is not going to say, well, look,
Northwestern was a decent team that they beat. They had a decent winning record. So it's a good team, and it's a good start, but they need to be able to
they got to beat a Purdue, they got to beat, some of these other teams that these bigger teams, and again, they show something. That Maryland game from a week ago, I think, was one of their best games I've seen in maybe 2 years. It was they just dominated the game. You went to Penn State. There was a game of runs, but they showed up when they had to. But I think losing Jalen Llewellyn really has hurt us. The last 2-3 years, we haven't had that point guard that we really need. For some reason, Jawan is struggling getting that guy, that what do they call it? The court leader, the court general, and we got some good shooting guards, and of course, let's talk about Jett Howard. That guy's been on fire. He's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard, but that guy has been on fire. Even our president, you had our president that tweets stuff like he does. We got Santa Ono is the man. I have to say that he is the man. But going back to basketball, I just think we just need to we just need to get more aggressive. They're playing decent defense, a little better. They played good against MSU, but then they couldn't shoot free throws down the thing. Again, talking about Hunter Dickinson, at Northwestern, he was 4 or 5 in a row. And we can't do that if we're going to make the tournament. We need to have some kind of run. It's got to start against they play Maryland again Sunday. Now, they beat them by, 40 last time? So I don't know if they're going to beat them by 40 this time. But just get a couple wins in a row. Start getting some, and maybe I think right now it's looking NIT, sadly, but it could happen. I mean, last year was a similar team last year, if you remember. Nobody think they were going to do anything.
Yep.
They made it to the Sweet 16 again, so I give them credit for that. But what do you think? What are the chances of them making the dance this year?
I do not think they're gonna, just because of the fact that down the stretch when they need critical plays, they can't make those critical plays.
Have you ever seen a team that down in the end, when they, against Iowa, when they had the ball, I knew they weren't going to get a good look, a good shot. Although they did have a good look, they just missed it. They just aren't tough down the stretch. And when they went in overtime, to lose by 10 points in overtime, and they had a 7-point lead, that was one of the worst losses I've seen in quite some time. That was hard to watch.
It's embarrassing. And I don't know, man. I feel like Juwan he's just not the guy, man. Like,
I hate
his
to
first
think
couple
that and say
seasons,
that, but
his first couple seasons, yeah. But the players that he has, they should be developing at a fast rate.
Well, the last 2 years they've had one of the best recruiting classes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and considering the
nothing.
fact that you guys aren't showing out at all, and you're losing against teams that you should be destroying.
Central Michigan.
Yeah, that's it goes back to coaching and player development, and that's something that I will commend Jim Harbaugh, because the first 4 years he was at Michigan, he just didn't develop his players right, and now, I mean,
yeah, now he's. I mean, it's because of them develop. They're not getting the 5 stars, but they're getting a lot of the 3 stars and even some of the 4 stars. And
I mean, you got to see, like, some of these kids are just insane.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's happening with Michigan basketball. And I mean, Kobe Buffkin, the kid from Grand Rapids Christian, he's coming along. But Doug McDaniel, I'm impressed with that kid too. Doug, he's a good freshman. Kobe, I said, was a freshman, but he's a sophomore. I take that back. I didn't hurt getting Llewellyn hurt, but he's out. But yeah, and in today's world, if you're a freshman, you're really a junior. You know what I mean? They don't stay. I mean, or they go right away. Last year, I forget the guy's name. We had 2 of those big, huge freshmen, 5 stars, and they didn't even play that great, and they were out in the first year. They go to the G League now. It's a different type of situation. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it was a fun game. I like going, but speaking of that, we do have 2 more tickets. We gave away our tickets to Penn State, and we have 2 tickets for Wisconsin on February 26th. That's a Sunday afternoon, so it's a good game to go to. What we're asking our listeners to do is, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our. It really means a lot to us. And
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Don't forget it.
On YouTube. And comment Go Blue. Just put Go Blue. I haven't decided when we're gonna draw. It'll probably be maybe a week before.
We should just do Go Tim, Go Nate. I mean,
Go Tim, go. We love you, Tim. Tim. Yeah, I'm sure that would work great. But for some reason, I think we'll stick with Go Blue. Okay.
I guess.
I know, kind of boring, but so please subscribe and like and comment. But you must comment Go Blue, and for you can do any of the videos, or all the audio
from
podcasts
the last
that we have
2 weeks.
For the last 2 weeks, yes.
Yeah. And also, we ask that if you do win, please use the tickets, and if you can't make it, please let us know. So we can plan accordingly to let someone else go.
We know things happen, and there can be emergencies. We respect that, but just let us know as soon as possible, because we can give it to another listener. Just all kinds of things to do, and so that's a good point, Nate. I appreciate that. So we're gonna switch from basketball to. I'll tell you what. Before we go into what is the soap opera that is Michigan, I called you yesterday. I said get your top 10 together. And I'll tell you what, why don't you go ahead first with your top 10, then I'll...
Sure.
And I know already we got a couple big differences, but some of the similars too. So go ahead.
I got Georgia 1, TCU 2. Only reason why I have TCU is because they're a runner-up, and they made it over Michigan, even though they shouldn't have.
Do you really
been
think
there.
they're going to be the second best team next year? Or did you do it as a
Preseason.
reward?
I'm saying preseason.
Preseason. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
preseason.
that's fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. And I got Michigan at 3, OSU 4.
OSU.
I don't know how Ohio State's going to do next year, considering the fact that C.J. Stroud declared for the draft. So we'll see.
Well, now they'll probably be pretty good then.
I got Alabama 5, Oregon 6, because Bo Nix is coming back. So I think they are going to be a very different team. At the end of the season, they started hitting their marks and whatnot. So Texas, you got Archie Manning coming in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got them at 7. I got Tennessee at 8. Hopefully Hendon Hooker is coming back and they can make a run for the national. Penn State at 9.
Penn State at 9.
And the shock and my wild card, I'm sure no one's going to expect this, Tulane, but Tulane balled this year, and I don't care what anybody says, they deserve to be in the top 10.
That's interesting. I thought about putting Tulane in
They
there.
finished 12-2. That is
Yeah.
a solid season.
No.
It doesn't matter. Like, okay, you got to think, okay, Alabama played a team that was not even in their conference, that probably wasn't even in the conference, in their, like, 8th or 9th week into the season this year.
Right.
And so you got teams like that, and then when you go against teams like Tulane that, you know, you're expecting to beat down and whatnot, and then you get a completely different team that you're not expecting. It's just something that I love to see. And Tulane balled this year. I only watched like 4 or 5 of their games, but the games I did watch, they were all over the field. Like, these kids were flying all over the field, and it was absolutely
they're
crazy
fast.
to see.
The couple
It was
games I
really
saw-
cool to see.
Yeah. Some of those. Well.
So
you
yeah,
know,
I got Tulane at 10, and I left USC out of there because Caleb Williams. Sure, he's coming back, but he had an opportunity, he squandered it, and I don't think they deserve to be in the top 10.
Well,
especially after 3 losses.
I mean, they were ready to. I mean, they had their ticket punched for the playoffs, and then not to lose the way they did. That was just.
I mean, yeah, they got gypped. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you squandered a lead, and then you lose in the fashion that you did. You don't deserve to be in my top 10. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably, once they hear this, they're going to be so upset that Nate didn't have them. I'm sure they're going to get together and just have
Yeah, they're probably all going to jump me.
Well, okay, so close in some ways. I'm going to start out. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. I've got TCU 10. So I've got TCU at 10. I think.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of good teams.
TCU
And let's face it, TCU.
Well, you got to think TCU is a legit team. I mean,
They're
yes,
a
they
good
got
team.
smoked in the national title.
Because Michigan couldn't even stand up. I mean, Michigan should have beat them. They didn't. TCU credit, but come on. And then look what happened to Georgia. Georgia is not. They're not that much better than TCU.
No, they aren't.
I mean, but
no. I mean, look what Ohio State did to Georgia. Okay, and we destroyed Ohio State.
Yeah, that's why when everybody says this just proves we can't play with Georgia, I don't see it that way. No. I mean, it depends. We have to play good, not the way we play against TCU. I mean, but you have games like that.
Considering the fact that we left 28 unanswered points on the field
from
2 pick sixes,
but at least 28.
2 pick sixes, and then you got the dumbass play calling, excuse my language, down inside the 5-yard line 3 times. You have
you have a field goal.
You have the fumble. You have the touchdown that got turned over. I mean, there was so many critical calls and errors that Michigan made that made them lose the game. And no matter what, I mean, yes, the touchdown that got overturned would have changed the entire
field,
landscape
momentum, the big
of college football. But at the same time, there were critical calls that got missed in the Ohio State game and Georgia game also.
Yeah.
So it can go.
No, absolutely.
It can go both ways, but I do feel like I'm hoping that when the NCAA this year, whether it's this year, next year, whenever it might be, hopefully they'll start looking into finding the refs or doing something along those lines.
I'll tell you what, between the college football and then the NFL, these refs, I don't get it. How do you have replay and you still can't get it? That's what's really killing me. But and talking about the TCU game, yeah, there was probably 28, even probably 32 offensive plays that we blew. But that's not, I'm counting some of our defensive laps, those that missed tackle when the guy ran, when we had come within 3. I mean, we could have beat them by 40 without even a stretch of the imagination. Again, we didn't, but no one's going to say, look, TCU's better than us. They were better on that day. But 9 out of 10 times Michigan beats them. I think everybody knows that. And I do think we lose to Georgia, but I think maybe by 10 or 14. I think it's a lot closer than what happened with TCU. Okay, back to my top 10. TCU, I do have at 10. I have Penn State at number 9. I think Penn State's going to be a lot better. I think this is going to be James Franklin's best team that he's had. So I think which worries me, Michigan at Penn State. That's a big game. Last year we didn't have any other than the Ohio State real big games that I was afraid.
Iowa.
I wasn't really worried about.
Okay,
Iowa.
but you got to think.
Yes, but their offense
defensively, defensively they had more points at the time of the season. Defensively, they had more points than offense almost.
Well, yeah, and that's why I knew the defense was going to be a little tough, but we needed to score a field goal. We were going to win that game. So I was nervous, but not like Penn State. Penn State's the real deal this year. So at Penn State, hopefully it's not a whiteout, but we got that. I got number 8, Tennessee. Like you said, hopefully Hooker and everything back. Tennessee could be really good. They could be better than this. Texas, I have at 7. And again, Archie Manning. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch him. It's going to be kind of, what a football name. Oregon, I have it. Okay, so we got 10, 9, 8, 7. Oregon at 6. So we got Texas and Oregon. You and I are exactly the same. Now, you got Alabama at 5. I've got OSU at 5. So I got Ohio State at 5. I'm just...
Only reason I had Ohio at 4 is because of what they did to Georgia and how close they came.
Yeah, no, they...
and that's the reason why I have TCU ahead of Michigan, even though I'm bleed maize and blue. That's the reason why I have TCU and Ohio where they sit.
Michigan fans, sometimes...
I respect Ohio as a program, but not their players or the coaches.
Well, right. The thing is, too... Ohio State, just because Michigan beat them the way, it doesn't mean Ohio State's not a good team. They are a very good team. When people start mocking, no, it's because give Michigan credit. They're a better team. Yep. But Ohio State is a good team. Yeah, Michigan had many really good teams, but Ohio State was the better team. Now it's reversed. So I've got, again, OSU at 5. I got Alabama at 4. These guys, I don't know who Alabama's got coming back for a quarterback, but these teams, you don't worry about it. They find these kids and they just reload every year. I got USC at 3. I just think Caleb Williams. I get what you said, but I was surprised you had him out of the top 10. But I think USC is going to come back and play better. Not that they didn't play good; they played good the whole season, but it was that defense is what
for sure
worries me. Then we got Michigan at number 2. And Georgia at number 1. So is this year a national championship game or bust, or a playoff or bust for you?
Game.
So they got to come back. Yeah. Okay.
I want to see them win the semifinal, and if they make it to the championship and lose, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah, especially against a team like Georgia. You know what I mean?
And Georgia's not going to make it this year. Stetson Bennett can't come back. He's done.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's in his 8th or 9th year.
Yeah,
so,
he was 26 years old or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, Georgia and Alabama, these teams every year, they could be there. In 24, when you go to 12-team playoff, that's going to be an exciting situation. Talking about Michigan and what's going on right now. So a lot of you have probably heard that Matt Weiss has been not relieved of his duties, but right now he is on administrative leave after he was involved in some type of illegal computer search or problem. What I'm hearing is that he got a hold of some people's emails illegally. Michigan found out about it and called the school police, and they came to his house. You know what? You're innocent till proven guilty. Matt Weiss is a great guy. I really like him. He's just a nice guy to chat with, and I have a lot of respect for him. However, if these allegations turn out to be true, you know, you can't just do stuff like that. You can't just hack computers and go into other people's emails, privacy and all that. So again, we don't know exactly what happened, but that's what I'm hearing. And if that's the case, the chances of him remaining with Michigan, probably not great. But I guess we have to wait and see what happened. I don't think it's not. I know our friends at MSU like to make this like, oh, Michigan is horrible and falling apart and all this. And yes, it's not a good look. But let's remember, this is an individual. This isn't the university doing something or anything like that. The only thing the university did that was, quote, level one was, Burgergate. Literally what Jim Harbaugh did. These kids showed up. They were already tied in. They were already committed to Michigan. So they was not a recruiting. He did not have them come in. They came in unexpectedly, and Jim, after talking to him, said, hey, you want to go grab a burger? You came all the way here. Literally bought him a hamburger at the Brown Derby. Literally. I mean, that sounds like, are you kidding? That's what happened. And when the NCAA asked him, now, he said, I don't remember. And they know he did. There was a receipt they found. Now, should he, he lied or he fibbed or whatever white lie, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying it was okay that he did. But the problem I have, to make this kind of deal, when all kinds of crap is happening openly with the NCAA, they're turning the other eye. This NIL is not a play to pay. You don't, pay your guys to come in. It's name, likeness, and image. Name, image, and likeness. Look at the bylaws. It states it quickly, but nobody cares. So much outright cheating going on. And the NCAA picks this. That's what bugs me. You know what? But what's going to happen? Michigan, the university is standing behind Jim, President Ono. I love Santa. Go Santa. He is, what a president. I mean, can you imagine our last president? It was nothing. I mean, it was, sports were spied. And what Ono did to get Warren Manuel and Jim together to get this contract that hasn't been signed yet, but it's just a matter of days right now. I just think is great to have a president like that. I just want to say thank you, President Ono, for everything you've done and are doing. He even tweeted out a tweet about Cincinnati and Buffalo, how he's rooting for Cincinnati. The guy loves sports, and I just think that's great. So, will he get? Will he be suspended? Probably a game or two. I don't think it's going to be anything like 6 games. But I do, because I've heard that floated out there, it's not going to be 6 games. If he's suspended, I think it'll be a game. And with Michigan's early schedule, I think they play, East Carolina September 2nd. That one might be gone. But anyway, I don't think it's going to affect Michigan. I think all this is noise. The Jim Harbaugh thing was a real deal. He, the difference was, here's what I think when he said last year. The only problem I have with any of his statements, when he stated last week, I fully expect to be here, when he said December 2nd at the Fiesta Bowl post or pregame press conference, and he said, I will be back. I expect to be back at Michigan. No one knows the future, but I expect to be, enthusiastically coaching this team. Everything he said turned out to be the truth. He expected it. He expects to get a new contract. He expects to be at Michigan. And he clearly said, no one knows the future. I expect to. People have problems with that. That's not saying I am totally 100% coming back no matter what. He said the truth. I have no issue with that at all. And he has every right. They came after him this year. Remember, last year Jimmy was looking. This year they were looking for him. And he didn't even, go for a second interview. They never talked contract. So everything he said was the truth. The problem I kind of have was last year when he said this will never happen again. He is done. Now, again, they came after him, but he could have said right away 2 weeks ago, they notified him and he told them he wasn't interested. Carolina got a hold of him. Indianapolis requested or Denver requested a interview, and I turned it down. I am staying at Michigan. He could have said that, and he didn't. So he was flirting with the NFL. So I wish you got to be careful what you say, Jim. What you said this year was fine. What you said last year after you came back, this was a one-time deal, and he'll come back with Michigan as long as he can. I think the problem is that he's having an issue. Clearly, him and Ward Manuel are having some type of issue. You look at those statements. He called President Ono, and President Ono will let Ward Manuel know. He thanked everybody in the university except Ward Manuel by name and staff, and this is not a good look. I think, Ward, you might want to update your resume because it's just not looking good. He did great in 2020 when everybody was under pressure to fire Jim Harbaugh. He stuck with them, cut his contract. I really don't have a problem with them cutting the contract, although I think Jim Harbaugh was a little miffed by it. But it's time to pay the piper, and they're going to have a good buyout. They're looking at about $9 million, which I'm not a huge buyout guy, but we need something like this for the university. So he'll be, from what I hear, he'll be, like, if you take the top 5 coaches and average their salary, he'll be right around that. So I don't think it's money is all his goal. This new NIL deal they got, this one more year, is going to be a good program. It's going to work out. Ono is working in the right direction. And to be truthful, when Blake Corum came back, there was no way Jim was leaving. The writing was in the wall. We got Blake Corum coming back, Mikey Sanderstill, Zach Zinter, Trevor Keegan, Michael Barrett. I mean, it's just crazy who we got. Cornelius Johnson. So we're looking at a team that's loaded, and if they don't make it to the playoffs, I am not, and win the Big Ten, it's not a good season. If they make it to the playoffs and lose the first round, yeah, good season, but not my goal. They have to make it to that final game, in my opinion. Nate had told me today that Davis Warren was awarded with a full ride scholarship, which is just, you talking about a feel-good story. I don't know if you guys know, Davis Warren's our backup quarterback who's got a gun, and he was a highly recruited quarterback. Got cancer. I don't know. You know what kind of cancer he got? Just got cancer in high school. Went through all kinds of, all the treatments and everything like that. Believe me, I know what it's like. I think he had it worse than I do right now, but I don't feel sick, so he went through a lot, I know. And he came back to Michigan. He walked on, and he fought, and he did a great job. And now he is a very solid backup quarterback. If something were to happen to JJ, I'd feel confident.
Same. The kid has a gun on him,
does.
And he is super accurate.
Did you see him in some of these early games when he
played in? Well, when I was watching the spring game, he played better than McNamara. McCarthy didn't play, but he played better than McNamara. And I was like, wow, like this is supposed to be our returning starting quarterback, and you got a sophomore at the time balling. Like, and he was dropping dimes all over the field.
The kid's the real deal. I mean, as far as losing people, I mean, other than Mike Morris and Mozzie Smith, which I think the writing was on the wall, they got invited to the Senior Bowl. Jamon Green, I was a little surprised that he went, but he's gone. And who else? We had, of course, we know Eric All and Cade McNamara, and then Alan Bowman left too after 2 years at Michigan. He came from, was it Texas Tech?
Yeah, Texas Tech. Yep.
And good. He stayed here 2 years. He did what we needed to do. I give him credit. Thank you. And I don't mind people moving on, but just have some class when you move on and who I'm talking about.
McNamara.
McNamara All.
Yeah.
And All's family are not been really. If I were Eric All, I'd tell my parent. I don't know if it's his brother. I think it's his brother. Like, stop. Okay, stop fighting with all Michigan Nation. So, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
So, we got I'm worried about Penn State. Of course, Ohio State at home. Those are the two games. I mean, you always have to worry about Minnesota. I'm not saying any of those are gimmies, but my real concerns would be Penn State, which I still think will beat. But we're going to have to, I don't think it's going to be 44-19.
It's going to be a tough one. That's for sure. It's going to be a very tough game this year.
but yeah, I know you had to take care of a little emergency. I was talking a lot about Harbaugh and all the crud that's going on, but I think. Do you think it's going to affect? I know he said he's coming back, and he is. But if you're like, oh, my mind went blank. Jaden Davis, or who's our 24 quarterback from North Carolina? Oh my gosh, he's.
No, but I
be...
feel like, okay, so this is what I think is going to happen. If Michigan wins the Natty this upcoming season, Harbaugh is gone. Like, he is not going to think about coming back. He's going to take, I think, the first NFL job that comes up. Because, you know, he wanted to bring back a winning tradition to Michigan, and he has done that. He has exceeded expectations the last 2 seasons, especially after a disaster 2020 COVID season. And so I think that if he does, if he wins a national championship, and he brings that winning, if he brings Michigan back into the light, then I think that not only if he does leave, fine, we'll be okay. I feel like he's not going to leave the university in shambles, the team in shambles. So I feel like if he does hand the keys or the reins to somebody else, he's going to do it with class. He's going to do it
It's not going to be Matt Weiss.
But he's going to do it with class and with swag like the Harbaugh
well, you know what?
we know and love.
Two things can be true. You can love the university and still want to see what is out there
especially if you bring a natty to the team in the school that everybody has been dying for, you've gotten so close. It was within fingertip. And you squashed it. And so after this last season, I feel like, you know, the boys are going to be hungrier. Like,
I think
starving.
Jim's going to be hungrier. Yeah,
those kids are going to be starving. And I think if he wins a national championship, he's gone. But if he does leave, I do not think that it will affect future recruits.
It won't be like it was this year and last year. It will be because I think if he wins it. But with that buyout, you know, I think that might squash. I don't know. I just don't know if he's going to do this every year. But if he wins a, you know, natty, he could be goal 1 now and going after goal 2. And the reason a lot of college coaches didn't do well, you know, in the pros. Saban was a disaster. Of course, our guy from Ohio State, he took
Urban Meyer.
He took Jackson. Look at him this year.
Yeah.
From one year to the other.
Yeah.
So not everybody can do it. And Jim's got, I mean, what he did with San Francisco was incredible.
Brought him to a Super Bowl and then choked at the half. Yeah.
So I want to let everybody know, too, that it looks like we'll be at, both Nate and I, hopefully going to be at the
spring game.
Spring game. I'm having a brain fart here. And we should be able to be on the field and get a lot of cool interviews and a lot of stuff. We're working on that right now. Again, we are
working towards transferring to full-time video also.
Yeah, and we'll be doing that as soon as we can get it all together.
As soon as the new season starts up, we will be full-time video.
So that'll be really exciting. We're going to start our own Lion thing come probably, you know, sometime during training camp.
Yep.
That'll be on Lion Chat, and we're going to go full-time into the Lions. We might have Super Bowl and a natty. I mean, that's a real chance. I mean, that is something. 20 miles apart, 2 teams winning their. But either way, I mean, I think it's going to be the best Lion-Michigan combination season probably ever.
If only we could get the Pistons and the Red Wings to get on the train.
The Red Wings are, you know, they're up and down. They're giving up a lot of goals, but they're doing a little better. I mean, they're over 500, so they're headed in the right direction. Pistons, I think, but, you know, with Cade Cunningham out, I kind of knew this wasn't going to be much of a season. But I don't think they're as far away as people their record looks like. So we'll get that going, but we're going to be full-time into the Lions, full-time into Michigan. We'll continue to do some basketball the rest of the season, especially if they get into the tournament. I'll keep doing my little individual deals here too, and we really appreciate it. I had so much fun doing this. It's just a blast talking about sports, football, basketball. I just love it. So please, again, I'm going to say one more time, on YouTube, February 26th, they're playing Wisconsin, 1 p.m. at the Chrysler Center. anybody that goes onto our YouTube, any of these, and put Go Blue from the last couple weeks, so long it was before the Penn State, that we can't do that, of course, but just anything from now on, basically Go Blue. Probably for the next month, we'll probably get our tickets away around February 20th, about a week before, and this means a lot. So, guys, thanks, Nate.
Yes, sir.
And I was going to ask you a question. I forget what I was going to ask, so I won't ask you today. But what was I going to tell you? I don't know. Anyway, Jaden Davis. I want to touch on that. He has pushed back his announcement. Of course, he's got 3 crystal ball predictions to come to Michigan, and he's coming in 2024. He would be huge after we lost all the big names coming to Michigan. Art Manning, Lloyd Carr's.
Well, you got to think the team is going to be different after this year because
is JJ gone next year?
Not only that, Edwards said he was going to be gone too.
After next, he said that already?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, in an interview. I heard about it yesterday, and I was like, holy crap.
So they're all in for this year. I mean, I'm not saying they can't be good in 2024.
I feel like if McCarthy,
we need a quarterback. We need JJ.
If McCarthy, Corum, Edwards, they go out on a natty, I feel like they're gonna all declare
I'll go
for
at the
draft.
same time.
If not, then I think McCarthy and Edwards comes back and tries to get it that senior year.
Yeah, and that would be perfect. I mean, I'd love to win it next year, but if JJ came back and we did get Jaden Davis, the 5-star number 13 in the country, we got him. You know, he freshman year he could come in now and then like JJ did with and then get him ready for his sophomore year.
Yep.
And that guy is he's just a talent laden, and he kept putting off. I think he was waiting for Jim to make his announcements. That's the thing. I'm his parent. I want to know who his coach is going to be. So I don't blame him, but I'm pretty confident Jaden is going to make an announcement within the next couple of weeks that he's coming to Michigan. So that'll be exciting. We're getting a lot of good news on the field. All this crap's got to stop with all
off
the
field.
off the field antics. So.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, thanks everybody. Go Blue. Have a great day. God bless all of you. And we'll talk to you next.
Go
Bye.
Blue.